Bucatini al amatriciana.
And what that is a tomato-based sauce with pancetta, onion, crushed red pepper, little red wine. The bucatini pasta we're talking about is a spaghetti with a hole right down the center.
Welcome to Amici Vino Cibo. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Carmen.
So today we're making an authentic bucatini al amatriciana. Amatriciana.
See.
All our Italian followers are going to hate us.
Yeah. We're making an effort.
Before that, we cracked open a bottle of wine. We have it's from the Montepulciano region. It's a di Abruzzo. Just a Rosso. It's just red wine. And so far, so good. What do you think, Carmen?
Oh, I love it.
Wine.
Salute.
I like any type of wine. I'm not a connoisseur. Yep. So we're starting with yellow onion. I cut this a little differently than I'm sure if you watch the Food Network or anything like that. A lot of people cook it and chop it the same way. The nice thing about it helps with not getting you all teary-eyed and crying while you're cooking there.
I do get emotional when I cook, but that's something completely
totally
different. It's completely different.
So I learned this trick actually chopping onions. My mother taught me it a while ago, but also I see it on the Food Network all the time on any cooking show. So what I do is I cut it in half. I half the onion, and what I do is I don't go all the way through. A lot of people chop it, but what's going to happen is all those vapors get in your eyes. So what I do is I don't go all the way. I put the point in and kind of just make slits where it's not all the way through. I don't know if you can see this in the footage, but it's not all the way through. I'm making like slitting it just right before. So I do that all the way. Just point down first, and obviously on the cooking channels they do it a lot faster. And then you turn to the side, and then you can just chop right through, and you have your chopped.
Yeah.
And guess what? No tears. Nice and easy.
Not tearing at all.
Not tearing up at all. Fine.
So, pancetta, basically it's just a salt-cured pork belly. Basically the same thing as bacon, but it's not smoked, it's salt-cured. Can't eat it raw. It has, and they use a lot of black pepper in it. So we're going to cut up about half of this.
Now you can or you cannot eat it raw?
Cannot eat it. It's raw. It is not cooked.
Oh, this is
It's
raw.
not smoked. It's just cured. It's salt cured, but not like a prosciutto.
Gotcha.
So it's not. You don't want to be eating this.
I think I have before.
Have you really?
I think I have.
I mean, this one isn't. You can buy it where there's different levels of it.
Mm-hmm. Now this recipe also can use guanciale,
Which is
pork cheek,
right,
or the jowl as they call it, which
Yep.
is kind of hard to find. I don't know where we can get it around here.
Yeah, I mean there may be some places where you can get it. I can't, to be honest with you, I've never had it with that. I've always had it with the pancetta, and the pancetta it's really nice. So I'm just gonna dice this small. Just a small.
And you keep all the fat on there and everything.
Yeah, because the fat is really where you're getting all the nice flavor. I'll put a little bit of olive oil in the pan to start once I start sauteing this, but you're going to keep that because that's where all that nice flavor comes from. And again, I'm just going to do maybe a 1/4 inch dice on these.
Now we've been getting a lot of feedback on our Facebook. We're getting some comments now. It's going to get some movement too, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to hear from you. So if you could like, comment, subscribe on the YouTube channel here. We also have our Instagram page, which is Amici Vino Cibo. We have our Facebook page, Amici Vino Cibo. Any support would be great, honestly. We love doing what we're doing, and we love your support. But we also like to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Love to hear something that you want us to cook or want us to try. If you're curious at a certain way, we follow a couple groups on Facebook, and I noticed a big debate is ragu versus sauce versus what's the other word that they use?
Gravy.
Gravy, yeah, that's a big one. Gravy versus sauce is a big debate.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious, but
yeah, it's basically the sauce and gravy are Basically the same thing.
Yeah, ragu is definitely different.
The ragu is different.
All right, so we got our pancetta, nice and diced, as Carmen diced it, and we got our onion, nice and diced. And that was a yellow onion, right?
Yes, it was.
We're going to head over to the stove, get this pancetta nice and seared up, nice, sauteed in a way, and we'll show you the rest of what we're doing over there.
Yeah, you're really going to want to smell this, but...
You can't.
You got to make...
So, we started up the sauce in the pan. We're going to talk about that in a second. Before we did so, we opened up a bottle of wine. This is a Chianti. It's from, it's called Castello Fantiretoli. It's from 2015, and it's a Gran Selezione. And the reason I know it's a Gran Selezione is because it says it right here.
So labels are for.
Now, Carmen and his wife went there last year, right?
Yes, yes.
And what's the name of the? What's it from?
The Mezze Winery. It's amazing. I mean, it was probably the most impressive winery I've ever been to, because a lot of the wineries in Italy, they use gravity to, they move the grapes, then to the crushing, then the juice. It's all fed by gravity, because they say they feel like if they use pumps or machines to move it, it bruises the juice. This was the most impressive, I have to say. It was amazing. So that's this, and this wine's...
That's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Fantastico molto bene.
Molto bene. Molto bene.
But we got we're going to start, we first got a saute pan out.
Right.
Go through that, Carmen.
Sure. So what we do is get heat up our saute pan, just a little bit of olive oil in there, and throw our pancetta in. And I sauteed the pancetta just long enough to get it just brown a little bit, golden brown. We're going to render out some of the fat, get it a little bit crispy. Took about 10 to 15, 20 minutes, move it around the pan. Put about a tablespoon of crushed red pepper. Just real quick, throw that in there. From there, we throw in our diced onion, small yellow onion.
And you kept that in there for a while. The onion, that whole mixture, the onion, the pancetta, the crushed red pepper, the olive oil. Yeah. You kind of kept that in there for a while.
I did. I turned the heat down and slowly wanted to bring, because if you have the heat too hot when you're sauteing an onion, it browns. I didn't want to brown it. I wanted to saute. I want to slowly bring the juices out of it and kind of just yellow it, make it nice and soft, so that it folds into the sauce. So you don't really, you're not chewing on pieces of onion. There's flavor in there, which onion, if done like that, adds a sweetness.
Right.
And that's what you want to bring to that. Yeah. I did that. Then I deglazed the pan with some nice red wine, about a cup of red wine. And listen, use wine that you're going to drink. Don't buy cooking wine.
I agree.
If it's a wine that you want a table, a drink, use that. Yeah. Because it only enhances the flavor.
Here's what happens. So I learned this from my nonna. I call her Nana. It's just from my child. But Nonna, every time I open a bottle of wine, I expect to drink the whole bottle. But sometimes it doesn't happen.
Sometimes.
And I leave a little bit. And what I do is I actually take it now, and this is what I learned from my Nonna, and I take it and I put it into a bigger bottle. And I mix all the different wines together. Some are Cab Francs, Cabernet Sauvignon, Pinot Noirs, some Chiantis, some Brunellos, doesn't matter. Right. And I mix it all together. And that's the wine that I use, because as it's just sitting there, it's not going to taste good to drink. Right. So I just mix it with the rest of the wines, and I use that to deglaze pans and do that stuff with.
Perfect. And that's what you do. So I deglaze the pan to get all those pancetta chunks off the bottom of the pan, a little onion. Move that around. Do that for about a couple of minutes, and then through a 28-ounce can of crushed tomato, a good quality crushed tomato. Throw that in there, move it around, and just let it simmer. And you let that simmer for as long as it takes the pasta to cook. The pasta's cooking in a pan. We throw, like I said, it was the bucatini, which is a spaghetti with a hole drilled through the center. I can't stress this enough. Do not take your spaghetti, your linguine, your bucatini. Don't take it out of the box, break it in half, and throw it in the pot. Mm-hmm. If it was supposed to be that size, it would have made that size. Trust me. If you have a pot that's smaller and you want to do it, don't worry. Put it in there. It'll just slowly move it around. It'll cook. It's supposed to be that size.
And before you do that, you got to salt the water.
Definitely.
And the little tip that I've learned over the years of cooking pasta is you want to use about a tablespoon of kosher salt is probably the best to use. I wouldn't say sea salt is great, but kosher salt, a tablespoon per pound of pasta that you're cooking.
Right.
So if you're cooking 2 pounds of pasta, you use 2 tablespoons. If you're cooking 1 pound of pasta, you use 1 tablespoon. So that's the first thing we did was we salted the pasta, water.
Right. And the reason you salt, so when you're cooking, it's a little tip, you're cooking in layers. Okay, so you've got your sauce going, and you've seasoned your sauce as it goes. So the only time you can season your pasta is in the water. And if you're like, you do, because now you've added another layer of flavor. It doesn't add a lot, it doesn't make it too salty. It just adds more flavor, because what the salt does in the pasta is pull out flavors from the sauce when you mix it all together.
It absorbs into the pasta, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, once the pasta's cooked, which took about 7 minutes, 5 minutes, actually.
Yeah,
we
make
did about
it
5 minutes.
just before it's al dente, which is, al dente means to the tooth. So when you bite it, you should feel something. You want to pull it out of there just before it gets to that, because what you do is when I pull the pasta out of the water into the sauce and I mix it in. Then I take a couple of ladles, probably maybe a cup or so of pasta water, add that to the sauce and the pasta in the pan with the sauce. So what that does is A, it helps add a little moisture to the sauce, and B, it helps finish cooking that pasta and helps the pasta absorb the sauce. That's what you want, so that when you're eating you're picking up that pasta, that flavor from the sauce is all the way through it, and that's what makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Don't rinse your pasta in cold water.
No,
before
God, no.
you don't do that.
And then, last but not least, we added the pecorino romano cheese.
Yeah, a little bit of pecorino to the pan as I'm mixing it, and then just before I serve, I'll serve the pasta on a plate, and then I'll sprinkle a little pecorino, and we're good to go.
Which we're ready to mangiare. So we're plated. We've got everything going here. Looks amazing, Carm.
It does.
But, as you know, we're amici vino cibo, but sometimes we're a little bit of amaro. So, so just got this in from Solaria, actually, which is Patrizia Cencioni, the vineyard that somewhat
right. So
hooks us up.
So they were nice enough to like our page, and when we were there a couple weeks ago. And so basically, it's Petruccia is the mom and her two daughters.
Talked about it last week.
This morning. Yeah, so we're just reiterating, but yeah,
this is their grappa. It's the best grappa I've ever had in my life. And I got 9 liters of olive oil this week as well. Yeah. Fantastical. But also, a little after dinner, a little post dinner, we also got cardamaro. And Carmen is actually the one who introduced me to this. And this is an artichoke based aperitivo, digestivo. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's fantastic. And I found this actually. You can find this locally. If you want some grappa, contact us. Let us know. But this you can find locally as far as United States. Right. But we got our pasta all situated.
Yeah.
And it looks amazing. So we're gonna dive in.
Yeah.
And enjoy. Thanks for joining us on.
Thank you.
Amici vino cibo. Salud.
Salud.
And I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, like, subscribe, comment, and hope you make it at home. Show us some pictures. Show us some of your footage.
Yeah, definitely. We want to see that. Salud.
Salud. Arrivederci.
Ciao.